Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to a UCL semifinal match preview. Before I start, I want to remind you guys to click on the link in YouTube, Twitter, and just basically join the conversation. You guys give us your thoughts and whatever you guys think we should improve on, or whatever you guys disagree or agree with us. But before we get started, I want to introduce the co-host Elias and Alvaro.
What's up, guys?
Suppose.
So yeah, guys, very big and important games actually. I think it's been one of the best semifinals we've seen in a few years. Real Madrid versus City, and in the current
Yeah.
form that City is, just terrifying. I think it'll be a great game, and we're seeing a game we haven't seen in a while, a Milan derby semifinal. What are you guys' thoughts on these two important games coming up?
And do you want to go first?
No, go after you. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, are we going to be talking about the Real Madrid game first, or do you want to talk about the Milan derby first?
We can talk about Real Madrid first.
Okay. So Real Madrid versus Manchester City. Now, both teams are coming in good form, I would say. Real Madrid, they've just won the Copa del Rey against Osasuna, and Man City, bro, they're on a 13 game like winning streak, something like that, or an unbeaten run. Manchester City are absolutely flying at this moment, and Real Madrid, they just won their title. So both teams are going into Tuesday's game in very good form. You have players like Vinicius on Real Madrid. You have Haaland and De Bruyne on Manchester City. It's going to be such an exciting tie. I see it as like very evenly, but where the ride is going to be very good, and we're in for a very good game.
Um, so for I'll start with the Madrid game. Um, we've seen how Madrid are the fathers of the UCL. We've known that for a while now. Last year they had a very late miracle comeback against City. This City team is very different to last year's team. They run
Mm-hmm.
they run their offense differently, and by running your offense differently, you can shape up your defense differently. So that team is not a team that Madrid faced last time. Um, we'll get later into the predictions, but it's not gonna be as straight up of a game as it was last year for Madrid. And do we want to move into the Milan game?
Well, no, I just wanted to give my thoughts real quick on it first, since both of you guys commented. I think this Real Madrid and City game is going to be huge. Like both of you said, they're both two teams that are coming in very great form. I would say, especially City, considering how they've come back in the league and are on track to win the league. They're only a point away from Arsenal, but I believe they have a game in hand, and they. I mean, I just think they're more capable of winning the league as they have more experience and they're a more seasoned team in this aspect in winning the league and holding it down in the last few games. But I do want to say Madrid, although they haven't had their best season overall, I mean, yes, they won the Copa del Rey, but now they're facing a very tough opponent with a very solid starting 11. And, not even considering their number 9, Haaland, who's just had a monstrous season. Um, but I think it's going to be a very good game. I think Madrid definitely got to play better than they did last year. I mean, at the end of the day, they won, so that's what matters. But
Yeah.
we do have to say that there was a lot of luck into it. And yes, they played well, but City choked a lot of chances. I remember Grealish toward
Mm-hmm.
the end of the game missed two chances to
Mahrez,
score.
Grealish, Mahrez,
Right.
Foden.
So it definitely wasn't an easy finish for Madrid, and they did have to try a
Mm-hmm.
lot harder. This year, we are seeing that City they basically solved their scoring issue, so to
Okay.
say,
Mm-hmm.
because it's always been a criticism that City hasn't had a proper 9. Well, I think it can get more proper than this, seeing how they're playing. And yeah, the team has been so solid as of late, to be honest. And they always were, but especially now with Haaland. So we'll definitely have to see. Now, moving on into the Milan derby, that's actually a game that I'm really excited for as well.
No.
We're seeing
Well,
two teams that, I mean, both massive clubs historically. Milan, I believe, the second most successful team in the Champions League. Um, and yeah, I'm referring to
no.
AC, of course. And it's just such talented teams, so much young talent. You have players like Leao, you have players like Theo Hernandez, and even on Inter as well, you have players like Lautaro Martinez, and they're just such solid teams. But of course, it's a different type of matchup. We're gonna be seeing, I believe, a more defensive style game, as is typical in Italian football. But yeah, it should be a great watch for sure. But what do you guys think about the Milan derby?
I'm just gonna give my quick thoughts because we are gonna like dive into more detail on both ties. Just my quick overview thoughts. I think it's gonna be a very exciting match. If Leao, if he's fit for AC Milan, he's gonna be a huge boost because he's been one of the best players in Serie A this season, and you saw that. Especially in the league, and on top of that, in the performance against Napoli, when AC
Mhm.
Milan overpowered Napoli, you saw how the runs that Leao was able to make. He's such an amazing player, and I would love to see him maybe at Barcelona. Um, but
That would be a
also,
very very big buy.
but you also have Inter Milan, who's been amazing so far in the Champions League, and we're gonna
Mhm.
have to see how they cope with AC Milan's attacking threat, and as well as their fullbacks. For example, Theo Hernandez, you saw his great goal in the weekend. So we're gonna have to see how Inter do that, but it's gonna be a very exciting draw. Hmm.
I actually I wanted to ask you guys something, right?
Okay.
If before we go deeper into the match, just a quick thought I had.
Yeah.
If you were Barcelona, would you be down to spend a little bit more money and get a player the likes of Leao?
It depends on the price. But
It depends on the price and
yeah,
and possible exits.
yeah,
Better
because
better yet. I'll put it simply put. Would you, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but would Leao be a smarter move for Barcelona if possible than getting Messi back?
it would, but at the same time, it depends on the price because Messi is going to be coming on a free. If
Right.
Leao, we can give Leao, for example, for maybe like 70, 65 million, I think that'd be a steal because I'm sorry, but I think in this current market, I think if we were to get Leao, it would have to be like 100 mil or a little bit more. It's just like that, just
No,
because like and,
right, right.
and even though he's like going on to like I believe his final year in his contract, it's just that, for example, when you have Modric, when you have Anthony, when you have Sancho, all these players are going for like 100 million.
Right, right, right.
It just you have it's like
With,
the
I
base
just think
price.
look, with what you guys are saying, with Messi coming free and being able to allocate the funds to possibly Leao, obviously these are hypotheticals. We have seen already names like Rafinha, Ferran Torres, and even Fati being linked to possible exits.
Yeah,
Those are all wingers. So if you're able to sow one of the three on the high, I mean you're
yeah,
getting enough funds to bring Leao. And so I don't think the question is how to play between Messi and Leao. I think the question is what exits are gonna be happening to
yeah,
be able to clear space and salary for Leao. And I think
yeah,
it's gonna be
exactly.
doable, but we just have to see how heavy his
Hmm.
market is and how packed it is. But to give my take on the Milan derby,
Yeah,
um, we see that, like Alex said, Italian football is a very defensive one. We see that Milan is more defensive than Inter in a sense. So I mean, it's gonna be an interesting one. I like we should really shouldn't expect um on our oleada from either side. It should be a close one. Both teams know each other very well from the season that they have each played domestically. So I mean, it's gonna be a defensive and a physical game from each side, and there really shouldn't be a clear winner if we see it that way.
okay, okay. And now let's focus on and let's dive into more detail onto that Man City versus Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid, the first leg is going to be at home. And I think this is a major advantage to Manchester City because
It is.
compared to
It
last
is.
season, Real Madrid they had the second leg at the Bernabeu, and that means that you already know what's going to happen, and you know the result that you need to get at home. It's just like that. Man City they're going to be playing away from home first, um, and now. How do you think Manchester City should approach this game? Do you think that Manchester City should go at Real Madrid, or do you think they should be maybe a little bit passive? What are your expectations on this first game? Do you think it's going to be a high scoring game? Do you think it's going to be low scoring? Do you think it's going to be tight? Or what are your opinions?
I honestly seeing how City have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and seeing the defensive weaknesses that Madrid has shown, I think if City go in there meaning business from the beginning, if they start off quick, creating chances, and using their passing, but also their turn of pace because they do have very fast players on the team, I think Madrid are going to be looking at a 3-4 goal deficit, and that's not even me like hating on Madrid because they're rivals. No, it's just I'm being honest right now. I haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen such a dominant team as City. I generally do think they're going to win. If it's not them, well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna go back to my original. I think the UCL is gonna be won by Milan. Anyone can disagree with me, but
You
right,
were going for AC Milan to win the
I
Champions
think
League.
AC Milan's winning it all.
Okay.
Um, but if it's I think the other contender up there is City, just because of how well they're playing. But of course, the reason I pick Milan is for experience in the competition. I think the team has more history, obviously. And City, even with great teams, tend to choke in the end. Now we'll see if it's any different this year with Haaland. But yeah, I think Madrid are gonna have to be very defensive, very on the counter attack, which they already do well. So they do have to look out for that, and you are gonna see the likes of Vinny, who Kyle Walker was not able to face entirely on their last matchup because he was injured, right? So they have Fernandinho playing right
Hmm. Yeah.
back. So we'll see if it's any different this year. But I think Madrid are gonna have to basically do a rerun of last year. You're just gonna have to play very on the counter attack and
Hmm.
see if City can make any serious mistakes.
Honestly, I feel like Pep knows Madrid better than many coaches, and he knows Ancelotti's Madrid better than many coaches. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna underestimate Madrid and just try to play a
Yeah.
passive game in
Okay.
Bernabeu. Yeah, they have the advantage. They have the advantage playing at home for the second leg. But I mean, I don't expect a 4-3 game, but I don't expect a 1-0 a 1-0 match. Like
Mhm.
whatever the case is, I don't expect City to just sit back and hope for a tie or for a 1-0 win. That's not City's play style, and I don't think it should change because of circumstances. Whether they go down 2-0 or going on to the second leg, or they're
Hmm.
up 2-0, they still have the advantage at home, but that shouldn't take away from the fact
Yeah.
that they have to play as well on the
Hmm.
road.
Okay. Um, you know, what Manchester City have to avoid doing is they can be having the performances that they, for example, had against Real Madrid last year, or the recent performance, for example, against Arsenal. Because even though Manchester City won both games and they were very dominant, they they didn't finish a lot of the chances. They had multiple chances to make it an even bigger scoreline, to make it 5, 6, 7. That's how many chances they had, and that's the one thing that Manchester City can do against Real Madrid. Because when you think about the tie last year, that's what Real Madrid they took advantage of. Manchester City had a lot of chances, but they didn't finish them. Either a monster save from Courtois or the player missing the chance. And then Real Madrid, they're clinical. They're good merchants. Get it done. It's just like that. It's that simple. You get it done at this moment. That's the one thing that Manchester City can't do. But the one thing that makes me optimistic is that now Erling Haaland is in the team, and the impact that Erling Haaland is going to have is tremendous. I Erling Haaland is definitely going to score in one of these two games, if not both. And I'm going for a brace from Erling Haaland. I think that Manchester
Yeah,
City won the Champions League, and it's theirs for the taking. What do you guys think? What is the impact that Haaland can have in this game?
I think and I've said it. I think the only reason I'm optimistic for City this year is because of Haaland.
Okay.
He's just been I think he's been the missing piece of the puzzle. I think he's extremely important to City, and I think he'll make a huge difference. I can see a 2 goal margin coming just from him, but we'll see. We'll see. I do think he's gonna have a big impact tomorrow.
Okay.
On Tuesday.
All I'm gonna say
Okay.
is, Elias, if you're right and Haaland gets a brace against Madrid,
You
his
ex-
his name is already up here on all time performances
uh-huh.
because he's already having a phenomenal season. But if he's able to do that in a Bernabeu
Mhm.
first leg, that I
Well,
don't know what
and
to tell you.
and then something other to keep an eye out is Vinicius versus Walker. because we don't know if Ake he's going to be available and fit for this game, and so we're gonna have to see how Walker confronts Vinny Jr. because we saw last year in the tie, Walker did very well against Vinicius until he got injured, and then when Walker got injured, that's when Manchester City conceded a couple goals, and so we're gonna have to see how Walker does because he does have the pace. He does have the pace and the defensive capabilities to match Vinicius Jr. And Vinicius Jr. he had an amazing performance in the Copa del Rey against Osasuna, and so he's gonna be coming into this game in very hot form. So, guys, match predictions. How do you think the first leg of the Real Madrid versus Manchester City tie is going to end?
I think it's gonna be 3-0 City.
3-0 City. You're going big. So you're going for Manchester City to basically demolish Real Madrid and basically finish the tie in the first leg.
I think so.
Okay, you're going bold. Alvaro.
I'm gonna go be a little more conservative. I'm gonna say 2-1 City.
2-1 City. Okay. I am also going to go. No, I don't want the game to be draw. I want goals. I believe it's going to end in a 3-2 Manchester City victory.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It's going to go. There's going to be lots of goals, and hopefully Manchester City leave the Bernabeu with a chance to basically eliminate Real Madrid.
You know what?
I don't want Real Madrid to win the Champions
Let's
League
make let's make it interesting. Who scores?
Haaland.
Haaland hat trick.
No, Haaland and De Bruyne. Brace from Haaland, go from De Bruyne.
And what about Madrid?
Vini and Benzema.
Alex for your 3-0.
Haaland brace, De Bruyne goal.
Okay.
And in my case, I'm gonna say Benzema for Madrid, and I'm gonna go Haaland, and I'm interested. Haaland brace.
Haaland brace.
Okay.
Okay.
If you guys are making your parlays, write this down. This is what's gonna hit.
If that happens too.
This is exactly what's gonna happen. Okay, guys. Now let's move on into the second UCL tie, and we gave our brief thoughts onto the game. But Milan versus Inter, the Milan derby. We haven't seen this tie in quite some time in the Champions League, and so let's dive into a little bit more depth. Let's see how both teams are going to do. Leao versus Inter Milan's defense. You have Giroud. You have Theo Hernandez. You have Lautaro. You have Skriniar. How do you guys think that the game is going to be? Do you think it's going to be a tight affair, open-ended? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think. Well, before I give my match prediction, I just want to say I think Theo Hernandez is the best left back in the world. I think he's
a monster. It's just the power, the pace, his ability on the ball.
He can do both. He can score and attack. Yeah. I mean, he can attack and defend, right? So he's such a complete fullback. For me, he's the best left back in the world currently.
Question: where do you rank Balde in the best left backs? Because he played for Barcelona.
I'll give him a top 5. I'll give him a top 5, but he's probably like number 5 or number 4.
Okay, I'm gonna say top 10 because I still need to see another season of consistency from him.
And the only reason I'm saying top 5 is because yes, he's been phenomenal, but I can't give him a top 3. Before him, I can think of.
I'm not gonna rank him. I'm not gonna rank him because I want to see a full season out of him, and he's already had a full season, but I want to see another full season because we all know. Of that some of them can go cold in that second full season, so we'll see.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, off the top of my head, I can name left backs that I think are better than him. I can think of Alphonso Davies. I can think of Theo Hernandez. I would even go as far as to say Robertson from Liverpool. Just because like how he's been consistent for a lot of years now. He's the all-time. I believe he's still the all-time assist leader for a defender, or that might be Trent. But he's up there with the numbers too, and Balde's a great player. But come on, Theo Hernandez is right now. He's something else.
He's something else.
But moving on to the match, I actually think it's going to be a very, very close game. We're going to see chances, but we're going to see a lot of defense. And just looking at Inter Milan, Bastoni, Skriniar, you're seeing a very compact defense, and a defense is very capable of just providing the coverage that the team needs. We've seen throughout this campaign, we've seen throughout last season as well. Um, Milan were a very hard team to knock down and to try to score on. I mean, Madrid did it. I mean, not Liverpool. Not Madrid. Liverpool did it. Right. Sorry, had a bit of a tongue twister there, but yeah, we saw Liverpool beat them in a very close game.
Yeah.
But still, you're seeing how strong this Inter Milan team is. They're a team that's very compact on defense, and up top they have great counter-attacking capabilities. You have players the likes of Lautaro Martinez. You have people that can finish like Lukaku. Um, excuse me, I don't
And
want to
then
butcher his name, but you have the Turkish midfielder.
yeah, I know exactly who
You
you're
guys
talking
know
about.
who I mean.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
and
He's
one thing also to
phenomenal.
mention is that Inter Milan, in the league, they've won 4 of the last 5 games they played, and so they are in a good run of form. As you can see, and they just came off of a huge 6-0 victory against Verona and a 2-0 victory over Roma. So they are coming into this game with confidence. And so AC Milan, as you can see, they only have 2 wins out of the last 5 games. But
Yeah,
as we mentioned before, when you look at tournament form versus league form, it's 2 different things. Just the different competition, you come into this game very differently. But as you said, I think it's gonna be very gritty. I think it's gonna be very, very intense. The atmosphere in the stadium is gonna be absolutely immense, just because like this could be the last derby in the San Siro, because apparently the San Siro it's gonna be remodeled soon, and the both teams are looking to get a different stadium, and so this is gonna be an iconic match. But I will. Do you have any thoughts on the game?
I mean, I don't got much to say. It was just what I said previously. But Italian football is always defensive.
Okay.
I don't expect a lot of. I definitely don't expect the 3-0 or the 3-2 that you guys were saying for the Madrid and City game. I'll be the first to say them the predictions. I'm expecting a draw, either 1-1 or 0-0. I'll be shocked if there's over 3 goals scored. Honestly, knowing both teams. And for the goal scorers, I'm just gonna go with the big names, Leao and Lautaro. If it goes to be a 1-1, if 0-0, then obviously that wouldn't be the case. But I'm gonna go with what we know that it's gonna be a very defensive game. So
Okay. Okay. And match predictions.
1-1 or 0-0.
No, I was talking to Alex.
Oh,
I'm gonna go 1-0 AC Milan.
1-0 AC Milan. Okay, okay.
of course.
So you guys were both going for very
Leao?
I think no, the GOAT Olivier Giroud.
okay, okay. I'm gonna go for a 2-2. I'm gonna go for a 2-2. I
Yeah.
think that both I think the occasion it's gonna play into the game because the atmosphere it's an iconic match at the San Siro. I think it's gonna be a 2-2. I think Bolatado and possibly Lukaku is gonna have a say. We're also gonna see how, for example, Giroud and Leao do. And so I'm gonna go for a 2-2. I think it's gonna be a very exciting match. It's gonna be very defensive, very tactical. But hopefully we see a lot of goals. But guys, that was it for our UCL preview. Let us know down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Who do you think is advancing? This is we are predicting the first leg. So far, Alex believes AC Milan is gonna win the entire thing. I disagree, but each their own. But guys, remember, as always, I post a link on Twitter at Kool-Aid Podcast 10. And anytime you guys ever want to join into the podcast and just give your thoughts and reactions, always feel free and welcome to. And as always, guys, like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you guys all in the next episode. Peace out, guys.